What's up everyone, this is Bartimus Bixer, and today we're in Roblox Studio. I want to show you my latest project. In front of you is a large cylindrical tower which has a ground floor, exactly 6 levels, and a top floor. And for those of you who have played Tower of Hell and the Tower of Hell, you'll be familiar with this format of game. There's a game like it called Treacherous Tower. Treacherous Tower is a bit different. It's only got 6 levels, and every so often one of those 6 levels is randomly selected, and it will play for 60 seconds saying this level will be refreshed in 60, 59, 58 seconds, so forth. And after that time elapses, that whole floor will be destroyed and replaced with another level. Might be the same color, might be a different color. If you're standing on that level and the block that you're on is replaced by a level where there is no block, you'll fall down. You might end up hitting a kill brick and dying and falling down to the ground, whatever. The fact that the levels randomly change, it kind of adds another dimension to the game, and to be honest, I think I need to make it. So that's what this is. On the Treacherous Tower creators profile page, they've actually got templates that you can download, and you can do your own levels, and if they like them, then the developers will actually include the levels in the game, which is pretty cool. What I've done here is I've taken the template ladder level and I've stacked 6 on top of each other, in fact 8 on top of each other, with the bottom and the top ones with the steps. So what we've got here is on the ground floor we've got the ladder. Now it's slightly different to the real game in that we've got this truss thing here, which won't be there when the game's finally released, but I'm just keeping it simple at the moment. You go up here, there's nothing, 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 and then you get to the top floor and there's a ladder and it takes you to this white block. And the white block behaves exactly the same as the white block in Treacherous Tower. As soon as you touch it, you get teleported down to the ground level, and you don't at the moment, but you will. Your win counter increments by 1. But more importantly, for the whole tower, the win counter grows. So it's every 3 wins, the whole tower refreshes. Remember I talked before about how random levels get chosen? Well, when this happens, when you get 3 wins, the whole tower refreshes, and you don't get 60 seconds warning, you get 5. So it's really not much time. I've tried replicating Treacherous Tower, and I can hear you saying, that's not really very original, you are just copying another game. Well, I fail to see the point of your argument, really. It's like saying the sky is blue, water is wet. I mean, it's so obvious. Like, what's the point? So, I'm ripping it off. Who cares, right? But the idea is that there's going to be some rules that work better for me and for people who I know who want to play the game. For example, you're going to be able to choose which level gets refreshed next, like voting, rather than just waiting for it at random. You'll be able to select, say, I don't want the green level, push the button, and next thing you know, it will be replaced. Cool, right? So what we've got here is I've made these 6 blocks that basically represent the level. And I want to show you what I've done. So let's fire this thing up, and we'll show you what happens. You'll notice there's a bit of debug information down the bottom. I've written that in. I like my programs telling me what they're doing. And here we go. So here's the 6 levels. So at the moment, if you look up, there's no colors that have been put in there. But this just gives you an idea of what will be there. I don't have a GUI yet, but if we look at this value here, time, you'll see it's counting down, 46, 45 seconds, etc. And after 60 seconds, one of them will be refreshed, and there you go. So there was actually a hint down the bottom telling me what was going on, which level was going to get refreshed next. And watch, when it gets to 60 seconds, it goes, boom, forest green. So now, if you were playing the game, it would say, the forest green level will be refreshed in 55, 54, 53, and forest green, of course, is level 1. So that's the colours. Now, in the actual remember I talked about the kill brick? Not the kill brick, but the contact brick. So if we touch that brick 3 times, 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins, watch what happens. Oh, see, it says I'm going to refresh the level now. Boom. There we go. That's an interesting choice of colours that it's come up with there. But anyway, you get the point. Do we really seriously have grey, and grey? That's not a very interesting lineup of things, is it? Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's better. So we've got 2 lime greens, and unlike Treacherous Tower, lime green is actually lime green. And we've got some of the other colours as well. So now I have been putting in some maps, and we're just going to stop before we carry on too much further. I want to show you something and how this is kind of working behind the scenes. So in service storage is a folder that you can just kind of put stuff, and it doesn't have any effect on the game until it gets moved from service storage into workspace. These are levels, and there's a wedge and there's a sphere. The wedge is green, the sphere is red. These are not obviously real levels that you would have in the game Treacherous Tower, but they give an idea. So random level 1, random level 2. Now let's fire it up. Something I didn't show you before is when you're in the game, there are actually maps placed above you. So you can see here. The other thing is I've turned gravity right down so you can do this. It's like flying in a helicopter. So you kind of hover. And you can see that we've got a few spheres, and we've got 1 wedge. In fact, they're all spheres except for that one. And if we touch this block 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and we looked up, it refreshed. Now, it might not have appeared like it refreshed all of them. It did refresh all of them. It's just because there's only 2 possibilities. It's like 50-50 chance of staying the same. So in most cases, they did stay the same. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it again and see if they refresh. Yeah, that was better. That was a much more drastic change. So you can imagine that the more levels that you have sitting in service storage, the greater the number of options that you're going to have when the game finishes, or when the reload completes. So, and obviously if we were going to stay here and we were going to do 60 seconds, when one of these colours would change, the corresponding map level would also change. So that's sort of the logic of how Treacherous Tower works. There's not really too much more left. I'll just give you a little bit of a look under the hood to see how this is all working. So we've got, I'm not a builder when it comes to ROBLOX Studio, I'm much more of a scripter. We've got this master function which is populate all levels. That's kind of the one that runs, there we go, it calls that one first of all. And populate all levels simply just does what it says. It starts off with nothing because you start off with an empty map, and it says, okay, so for each of the levels 1 to 6, refresh that a level. So we then call this one here refresh level, which really just says if there is no map there, then just clone a random level out of storage. If there is a level there, then we have to first destroy it and then run clone from storage. So clone from storage is kind of the one that takes the map out of storage, decides where it needs to go, which level, and places it there. So that's what it does. So we've got we're randomly choosing one. Here's the random number generator, math random, and obviously there's more stages there. It'll be 1 to 20 once we've got 20 maps, for example. We clone it, we say here's the height that's going to be in, we assign it to that height, and we copy, because when we clone it, we have a copy in service storage, and we move that one into the workspace. Once we move into the workspace, of course, it plays part of the game, and you can see it and interact with it. And finally, we rename it, because the map's going to have its own name in server storage, and then once it goes into the workspace, you need to give it a name that corresponds to the level that it's been placed in. And I'll give you an example of that. Remember how they were just called 1 and 2 when they were in server storage? Well, here they're called level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, and level 6. And if you look at them, you'll see the parts that they are: sphere, 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 and sphere. So we've got all spheres up here today, and there it is. What else do we have in this script? So that's cloned from storage. There's also some scripts that will just simply retrieve the level name, because we've got the name that it's called in the game, and then you've got the color name that ROBLOX uses, which isn't necessarily the same as the one I've copied the names from Treacherous Tower. And then we've got things like level 1 brick color, level 1 color, which really just corresponds to the current working name of the current working level. So if it's yellowish green in level 1, then it will be yellowish green, and it will be br.yellowish green for those two corresponding ones for level 1. But the minute that level gets destroyed and replaced with another, it will be populated with those values, and those are the values that kind of serve as a reference. So when we do refresh level, that's really what refresh level is all about. It's about just putting values into those variables so that we can use them. We've also got some timer related stuff. We've got restart wins, which has the count of how many wins we're at out of 0, 1 or 2. The minute you get to 3, it goes to 0. And then this flag here, reloading all, gets turned to on. It's a true false value. It's default, it's off. No, it's false, but if it happens, it turns into true. And that just kind of affects the logic of the game. If it knows that the game's in that mode where all levels are going to be restarted, it behaves differently to how it otherwise does when it gets to 0 seconds. It jumps straight to 5 seconds left, and then at 0 seconds, either it refreshes one level, or if restart or reloading all is set to true, then it restarts and refreshes all levels. These ones here, these are just the parts for the those bits down in the lobby that change colour. Eventually I'll delete them, they won't be there. And then end portal is the bit at the end that you touch. So that's basically it. I think the game's going to be called Treacherous Bilkies, and you'll see it develop over time. So when it's finished, I will let you know. Make sure you come check it out, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it.